Now, before this video starts, I just got to clarify something. This video was recorded about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've just been really busy to upload it. Just not had the time to. Had a lot of other videos to upload. So, basically, this video was recorded before Monster Hunter Double Cross, or XX, got announced for the Switch. So you're going to hear me talk about, oh, if Monster Hunter gets announced for the Switch and stuff like that. So just want to make that clarification before this video starts. And obviously this video was recorded before the Pokemon Direct as well. So I'm not sure whether I said, oh, if that Pokemon Stars rumour from Eurogamer is true or not. I can't remember what I said about that. Might have touched upon that. So if I do, then you realise that, you know, this video was recorded 2 or 3 weeks ago now. But I feel like the main concept of this video still stands. So that is why I am still keeping it, still uploading it. And yeah, I'm just going to let you to watch the rest of this video. Does Nintendo Switch need third-party games to succeed? That is what I will be asking in this video. I will be talking about, yes, it does need third-party games. And then I will go on to talk about, no, it doesn't. It will be perfectly fine on its own. I don't think it is as black and white as what people make it out to be. But yeah, this is going to be a long video. So if I were you, I'll grab your snack of choice. For me, it'll be flipping Bourbon biscuits. Absolutely love Bourbon biscuits. But when it's hot like this right now, it's flipping hot. It's like the hottest day of the year. Don't like chocolate when it's hot. So probably will switch to custard creams. Get your drink of choice. And yeah, let's just get on with it. So, does Nintendo Switch need third-party games to succeed? Let's start off with the yes side of the camp. Or the yes side of the question or the answer. I can't even flip and talk. But yeah, pretty much the Switch, it's an appealing, platform. It's an appealing device. Being able to play games anywhere, out on the go. Play your console games anywhere. It's just such an appealing factor. But for some people, it may not be as appealing as for others, just because this system right now is a Nintendo machine. To people that may not necessarily be appealed by Nintendo games, maybe those people may not be appealed by playing a console-like experience out on the go when it comes to a Nintendo game. But if the Switch did get some of these third-party games like a Star Wars Battlefront 2 or a Call of Duty World War 2 or an Overwatch or a Rocket League, games like that, if the Switch did get those sort of experiences, being able to play those sort of games out on the go, maybe you will get some of the people that may not necessarily be appealed by the Switch at the moment. Maybe those sort of games will turn heads somewhat, and maybe you will get those people getting the Switch just to solely play the games that they can currently play on their PS4 or Xbox One, to carry on playing those games when they are out on the move. So when they are out on the train, they can carry on playing Rocket League, and when they are at home, they can play Rocket League on their PS4, or they could choose to play it on their Switch docked if they want to. So I feel like third-party games will help to sell the system in terms of getting people to be appealed by its main USP. Maybe some people aren't appealed by playing Nintendo games out on the go. So maybe it will appeal to the PS4, Xbox One crowd. And just moving into that, third-party games, the more games that come out for the Switch, the better. Just because, again, you will attract some of those PS4 and Xbox One gamers over to your system. If you got some of the third-party games on there, like a Call of Duty World War 2 or a Star Wars Battlefront 2, I think people would be appealed by the Switch if it did get third-party games. Even though I find these people stupid just because they can already play those games on their PS4 and Xbox One. But for some people, until the Switch gets third-party games, then they don't see it as being appealing. People aren't appealed by, or some people I should say, aren't appealed by the Switch potentially just being a Nintendo machine and a indie machine. So having third party games like a Call of Duty would help to sell the system, and the more games the better would help to carry on the momentum, because it's going to be hard for Nintendo to carry on this momentum of releasing a game every month. So having third party games to carry the load in some months, it will definitely help the Switch out. It will definitely help Nintendo to carry on that momentum, and that sort of momentum these other systems they see all of the time, just because they get these third party companies to release their games on their platform. So the momentum, it's like Sony, they barely release any games, but because they get these third party games on their system, it means that the momentum is constantly going, and that is one of the reasons why the PS4 has sold like 80 million units worldwide, I do believe. I think I think it's something like 70 million, 60 million. I could be wrong. It's definitely in that ballpark. Maybe it's 70 million. I know I kind of got mixed up between GTA 5, because GTA 5 has shipped 80 million units worldwide. Did talk about GTA 5 for the Switch, and how that will definitely help to sell the system. But yeah, I definitely feel like third party games will definitely help the Switch to succeed, because like what I mentioned, it would help to broaden the Switch's appeal. Being able to play third party games like a GTA, like a Call of Duty, that would just be really, really appealing for people. Being able to play those games on the move, it would just make the Switch even more appealing than what it is right now. So yeah, the Switch definitely needs these third party games to carry on the momentum. It would help to alleviate droughts, just because I think there is going to be a point where Nintendo games will dry up on the system. So third party games will definitely help to fill out that lineup. But just moving into the no situation, like moving into the no answer, if you look at systems like the Wii, the Wii didn't get that many third party games at all, but that system sold like hotcakes. Maybe the same sort of thing will happen with the Switch. Maybe just having Nintendo games will be enough to sell the system. And moving on to the 3DS, that system has sold something like 60 million units worldwide. Granted, not every single system is individual users. You got some people buying different 3DSs, so you got people buying multiple 3DSs. So you got people buying the original 3DS, and then a new 3DS, then a new 3DS XL. But the same could be said for the PS4 as well. I'm sure some people bought the OG PS4, and then maybe some of those people upgraded to the PS4 Pro, or maybe some of those people bought one of those special editions PS4s, like the Star Wars Battlefront PS4, where you got the Darth Vader slapped on the front, or the Call of Duty PS4s as well. So yeah, moving on to the 3DS, going back to that 3DS argument, if you look at the 3DS, it has barely got any third party games. The two that stick to my mind are Resident Evil Revelations, which definitely helped the 3DS out. That game definitely helped the 3DS out when the 3DS was first launching. It was one of the big games that did help to turn around the 3DS fortune. So you got Resident Evil Revelations and you got Monster Hunter on there as well. They're the only main third party games that I can think of in terms of the 3DS. I know with the DS you had Call of Duty games on there, but they weren't necessarily the DS's main selling point. Like third party games, not really a main selling point for Nintendo's handheld systems. The 3DS pretty much had every single Nintendo franchise on there. So you had a Mario Kart, you had a Pokemon, you had Pikmin. You're getting Pikmin now. You got Donkey Kong on there. You've got Zelda on there. The same thing could happen with the Switch. The Switch could get every single Nintendo franchise on there, and that could be enough for people to be appealed by that. If you got a Pokemon game on the Switch, then the Switch will just sell. Guaranteed it will sell. It's like Pokemon Sun and Moon that sold 15 million units worldwide to date. that definitely helped to boost hardware sales for the 3DS. So if you got like a Pokemon game on there, as well as all of Nintendo's other franchises like a Metroid, you know, Pikmin as well. If the Switch is the only Nintendo machine that you will need to buy, then I feel like the Switch will sell based on that fact alone. And if it gets a game like Monster Hunter, then you got Japan nailed on. I think to get Japan, I think Japan are pretty much on board anyway, just because, you know, the Japanese market, you know, the Switch is selling quite well in the Japanese market. It's only in the last few weeks that it has dipped, but I would say that Zelda and Mario Kart are games that, you know, Japanese gamers don't typically buy. But you've got the flipping Square of, you know, Dragon Quest 11, which is coming out for the Switch in Japan. I do believe it's Dragon Quest 11. Dragon Quest is huge in Japan. You got Splatoon 2 coming out, which is huge. If you get a Monster Hunter game as well, then yeah, that is flipping huge. And if you get Pokemon, so you got 2 of the 4 there already. I think the Switch will sell in Japan based on Splatoon 2 and Dragon Quest 11. I feel like those 2 games will make the Switch go flipping nuts in Japan. I feel like the Japanese audience will go nuts for the Switch just based on Splatoon 2 and flipping Dragon Quest. But if you get a Monster Hunter game in there and a Pokemon game in there, then the Japanese will just go crazy for that. And with Pokemon, that will just help to sell the Switch worldwide pretty much. Being able to play a Pokemon game on a TV and take that and play that anywhere, kind of like the handheld experience, then seriously, it's game over. The Switch will be successful. So the Switch doesn't necessarily need third-party games to succeed if the Switch will be the perfect Nintendo system that you need pretty much. I think the 3DS is proof that you do not necessarily need third-party games to be successful. Yes, it is a handheld. Look at the Wii as well. It barely got any decent third-party support. Yeah, we've got a Dead Space, we've got GoldenEye 007, we've got Red Steel from Ubisoft, we've got Call of Duty, of course, Conduit as well. But those third-party games weren't the main reason why the Wii was successful. Its unique aspect, you know, of motion control, that was the main reason why it sold well. Maybe being able to play games anywhere, like console games anywhere, maybe that will have the same sort of similar effect as the Wii and its unique aspect. Maybe people will buy the Switch based on its unique aspect. But if you look at the 3DS, it barely had any third-party games. The main reason why it's selling well is, of course, it's got a Pokemon game on there. You know, it's got multiple Pokemon games on there. But I also feel like, you know, with the 3DS, you've got pretty much every single Nintendo franchise on there. You've got like a Hyrule Warriors on there as well. You got like a mainline Zelda game on there. You got Mario, you got Super Mario 3D Land, you got 2D Mario, you got Mario Kart. So if the Switch gets Nintendo's main franchises, then I feel like the Switch will sell well. I don't feel like it will necessarily need third-party games, but what I feel like is, you know, it's going to have to carry on the momentum to be successful long term. And what will help to carry on that momentum is having third-party games. But I'm just not really expecting third-party games to come out for the Switch, like, on a large-scale basis. I feel like you will see the odd few here and there, like a FIFA, you know, like NBA 2K, and maybe a Call of Duty. I don't think we'll see third-party games on the Switch on a large-scale basis, but I feel like third-party games would probably help the Switch to be more successful, you know, more quickly, I should say, just because I feel like it would, you know, appeal to the PS4 and Xbox One crowd. It would appeal to people that may not necessarily be appealed by the Switch with just Nintendo games. But I sadly don't feel like it is a foregone conclusion that if the Switch doesn't get third-party games, then that is it. It's game over, because you just got to look at the 3DS. it barely got any third-party games. What I mean by third-party games, I should have really mentioned this at the start. I mean Western third-party games. I think the Japanese companies like Capcom, Square Enix, maybe those sort of companies will be on board, but I doubt like an EA will bring over all of their games. Ubisoft, Activision, those sort of companies. So that is what I mean by third-party support. I really should have mentioned that at the start. And I'm sure some people are already screaming at me by saying the Switch will get Eastern third parties. It doesn't really matter about Western third parties. But Western third parties would help to broaden the Switch appeal. It would help to appeal to people, like what I mentioned before, that may not necessarily be appealed by Nintendo games. But I still feel like the Switch could reach 3DS levels of success if it did get all of Nintendo franchises all on one board. If it got like a Monster Hunter from Capcom, if it got a Pokemon game from Game Freak, then it's game over. The Switch will be successful no matter what the third party situation will be like on the system. So I don't, like I said at the start, I don't really feel like it is black and white, but it's just my thoughts. The more third party games the better. I'll definitely buy them, but I don't feel like it is a foregone conclusion. If Nintendo carries on this momentum of releasing a game a month, then I feel like the Switch will be well on its way to being successful. So, yeah, that is just it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Do you think Nintendo Switch needs third-party games to succeed? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Try to cover both sides of the argument. Try to be balanced. So, yeah, I'm just going to speak from me and say, of course, I would prefer more third-party games on the system, but I've got a PS4 for my third-party needs pretty much. So, that is it for this video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.